when I was young, I used to do paper dolls.
Uh-huh.
So I used the scissors and cut out gaskets and all kinds of things. I don't know, well, why would I go someplace and look for a simple little gasket
Yeah.
when I got miles of cardboard that comes in all the gasket sets? And
Right.
I can't cut out gaskets all the time and
Right.
make them simple.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to run down the street for a 2-cent gasket. It'll take me 5 seconds to make it.
Right.
I just cut cans out to plug these heat risers. This is exhaust that goes in and heats the intake.
Oh. Okay.
So then this particular car, Chevy motor, is going into a 35 Ford pickup truck.
Okay.
And it's got no heat riser, no choke or anything.
Right.
Anytime you can keep the heat off the carburetor.
Ah.
If the heat gets in the carburetor, that's on most the older engines. Maybe the temperature is so much.
Yep.
And it's not uncommon to, if you're driving around and you stop the engine.
Yep.
And the float level is so high in the carburetor.
Yep.
That then the engine gets hotter as it sits there.
Right.
Maybe you're running at 180 and it goes up to 200 or something.
Yep.
After you shut the motor off, it will boil the gas in the carburetor.
Right.
So then that raises the volume. The volume runs supposedly 10% for every 100 degrees.
Okay.
So then that would raise the float level up higher than it's supposed to be and percolate over. You stop your car, you sit there for 5 minutes, you see steam come out of the carburetor.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the float level is so high that it bubbles over and floods the engine.
Okay, it makes sense.
And that's the steam coming out of the carburetor is the fuel going down the carburetor, down the motor, and boiling.
So this explains why on my old truck, if I turn it off, especially in the summer,
yeah,
if I turn it right back on again, it starts instantly.
Yes.
But if I wait 20 minutes or half an hour, come back, it's it's
flooded
forever. Okay.
Because the float level will rise with the temperature of the engine and flood it over. So your float level should be lowered.
Oh, to fix,
or else stop the heat from getting in the engine.
Okay, so wrapping the fuel lines doesn't help that.
Doesn't help nothing at all.
I got
wrapping the fuel lines is very little achieved from that.
Okay.
It's got an old wise tail.
Okay.
Put coat hangers. I mean, clothespins on the the fuel line. Or wooden clothespin. That don't take much heat away.
Right. Because all the heat is coming out of here. I mean, there's a lot of heat in this.
That's a lot of heat, yeah.
Right.
So all our new manifolds, it's got these plugged.
Okay.
All the new manifolds, they're high rise and everything else, have them plugged.
Uh-huh.
This particular manifold I'm going to put on here does not have them plugged.
Okay.
So we're going to put, anytime we can keep the cold air in the engine, and the engine cold and the carburetor cold, it runs much better. Much, much better.
So the heat's not your friend for this stuff.
It's not your friend. So we're going to plug those up and keep the exhaust out of it. And it's aluminum can. It'll last quite a while. I don't think I've ever taken one apart after a couple of years to see if that had rotted away or not. There's no pressure in it.
Right, okay.
The only pressure would be in there if your catalytic converter was plugged up.
Right.
Then it might blow them right out. You have other problems.
Yeah, right. You have more problems than that, huh?
Yeah, more problems than that. So that's what we're doing here.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting little thing. So you're just prepping this right now to put this manifold on it, huh?
Yeah. Very good. And we never use the, we throw the rubber gaskets away for the ends.
Okay.
Both ends we throw them away.
Okay.
And they used to have cork gaskets.
Yep.
And even had some of them that they knew there was a problem with the little holes here.
Really?
And some gaskets have got a little tit down there, and you can push them down those holes.
Really?
Then we used to take, in the old days when we took a sharp punch and punched it on this area here and hit it with a hammer many, many times. We said it would put chicken tracks across here and across here.
Yeah.
And that left those up like this, barbs.
Oh.
Then we would take the intake over, upside down, and put the same ones on there. So that would keep that cork gasket there without sliding out.
To hold it, okay.
Yeah, sliding that gasket wouldn't slide out.
Yeah, this is too slippery.
Yeah, it's slippery. Because small block Chevy intake manifold gets up to 180 degrees. it's 25 thousandths longer. And every time it cools off, it shortens back down to 25 thousandths. So that's what causes these gaskets to walk right out of here.
So every drive cycle,
Yes.
it's extending and coming back.
And forth. And that's why the bolts are the way they are. They're bigger holes in the manifold than there are bolt holes. So that manifold can expand without breaking. That would just walk that gasket right out of there. After maybe a year, the whole gasket, then you got a big old oil leak out the front of the back.
Right.
And Chevrolet knew that because they put the tips in here.
Okay.
Try to stop it.
Right.
So since then, we have some Apollo missions and stuff came up with this stuff called silicone.
Right.
So we use silicone, and silicone is so flexible, we don't have that problem anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to put a nice bead of silicone on here.
Okay. Well, that's interesting history, though, for why that came about.
Yeah, that's how it came about, yeah.
So other than that, this is everything else is just pretty ordinary? Just
pretty ordinary, yeah.
Now, what kind of car is this going into?
35 Ford pickup truck.
35 Ford.
35 Ford pickup truck, yeah.
Interesting.
We're going to run this motor. I have another one here that we're going to run. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many stories going on in the shop. It has to do with me,
yeah,
and maybe the shop and our reputation.
Yeah.
I hope it's good.
I think so.
Is that we have a nice Chevrolet motor here.
Okay.
I think I can run this motor.
Okay, look at that.
So we'll get some more information on this motor here a little bit.
Okay, tell me about
We've
it.
been running this motor. They're going to give him this as a retirement gift.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's why we've been running it and thinking of, it wasn't a black motor for it. I don't know what kind of car he's going to put it in, but we can maybe find that information. But that's where it's going.
Okay.
Camp Laguna.
And that's why the color scheme.
Yeah.
Black and red. You know, that reminds me of UGA in Georgia. It kind of has those colors.
What's that camp that's having trouble with the water or something? Camp Laguna?
I think it's Camp Lejeune that I've heard of.
That's where this is going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Camp Lejeune.
Yeah. The high-rise aluminum intake, but even though we painted it black.
Okay, yeah.
And that sharpener and a new carburetor and distributor and plug wires and stuff. And this thing really runs nice.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So you're willing to
chrome on it and stuff.
You're willing to start it up for us?
Well, we can start it up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you got some gas. You got this thing hooked up. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Don't. I like that one idle.